To the Fix Your Fatigue podcast. Whether you can't get out of bed in the morning, your energy crashes throughout the day, or you're a biohacker looking to optimize your energy, productivity, and focus, this podcast is for you. I am Dr. Evan Hirsch, and I will be your host on your journey to resolving fatigue and optimizing your energy. And we'll be interviewing some of the top leaders in the world on fatigue resolution. Welcome. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fix Your Fatigue podcast. I'm so glad that you're here with us today, because today we're going to be talking about hidden toxins, those things that are in your home that you need to be aware of to make sure that they're not negatively affecting your health and contributing to your fatigue. And we're going to be doing that with my good friend Aimee Carlson. So let's go ahead and learn a little bit about Aimee. So Aimee is a lifetime entrepreneur, having owned and operated the only 100% female-owned automotive franchise. She's a best-selling author, podcast host of the Toxin Terminator, and certified toxicity and detox specialist. Aimee is helping people restore and renew their lives by removing these hidden toxins from their homes and their bodies. She has spent the last 8 years renewing their own health naturally after working in the automotive industry for many of her adult years, knowing her toxic exposure was found there. She suffered from multiple chronic illnesses. There were so many doctor visits, numerous medications, and yet no solutions. And it was truly an accidental opportunity that she found solutions that allowed her body to heal. It is now her lifetime purpose and passion to help others find there is a way to live without chronic disease and truly renew their health, focus, and energy. Aimee, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. You know, any opportunity I can talk and share what I know and what has made such a huge difference in my life, you know, I'm going to jump all over that.
So you are the Toxin Terminator.
Yes.
And so let's just kind of, let's jump in here and let's talk about what are the top toxins that we really should be avoiding?
Sure. You know, when we hear the word toxin, it can be so overwhelming, you know, because we know that toxins are in the air, it's in our food sources, it's in our water. So where do we even start? How do we avoid, you know, toxins? And I'm here to tell you, you're not going to avoid them. Unfortunately, we're surrounded by them and they're part of our life, but we can learn how to kind of take our hand off that fire a little bit. You know, so we can eliminate many that we're just not even aware of, and we can support the detox function of the body as well. You know, when we do those two things in conjunction, it can make such a huge impact in our overall life. And I like to talk about the 4 worst offenders. And there really are 4 of them. So if we look at mold, we look at heavy metals, we look at hidden infections, and then we also look at general toxicity. And I like to call those the hidden toxins, because there's so many inside of our homes that we don't even know that are toxic to our body.
Mm-hmm. That's brilliant. You're speaking my language.
I thought as a fatigue, you know, expert, that might be, you know, something you're right up your alley.
Absolutely, yes. And so then when we're talking about these hidden toxins, which ones are the most common ones that people have in their homes, they don't realize that they're toxic, and they need to do something about?
Okay, so let's go to the general toxicity column. Let's just start right there. I look at toxins as an onion. Right? So if you see an onion, you know, you can peel all those different layers of the onion, right? You just keep on peeling and it seems to be never ending. And that's how toxins in the home are. So where do we start? You know, we can take it room by room. We can start looking at, what do I use every day? Mm-hmm. That's what I like to start with women, is think about, what are products you use every day? You know, what do you wash your clothes in? What do you use dryer sheets in the dryer? What are you cleaning your house with? What are you shampooing your hair with? You know, we just start with the basics, because the things that we use every day, have you heard the word bioaccumulation?
Mhm.
All right. So while maybe an ingredient in your shampoo isn't really that bad, but in combination with what's in your conditioner and what's in your lotion and what's in your laundry soap and what's in the stuff that you're wiping down your countertops with, it starts bioaccumulating inside the body, and then it becomes very toxic to us. So that's why it's so important to start, turning the labels around with all those everyday products, just like we do with our food. We're really interested in, what's the fat content? What's the sugar content? What about carbohydrates? We're really interested in reading our food labels. So let's do the same thing with our personal care products.
So then it's brilliant. Thank you for that. And I mean, I know that even on some of like the more natural stuff, it still is a little bit confusing to me, and I do have to look up some of the products. So how do you know if you're looking on the back and the product is toxic or not toxic?
I'm glad you asked that. So, I don't want to be a chemical engineer. I don't know. And most people don't. I just know I want to have safe products in my home. So I like to give women and men, the easy button. Everybody wants that easy button. So there's an app called Think Dirty.
Mm.
Have you heard of it?
I have not.
Ooh, this is going to be great.
I'm excited.
So what we do with Think Dirty, this was an app created by a woman whose mother had breast cancer. And she realized very quickly that there was a lot of products her mom was using that was estrogen mimicking inside of her body. And so she wanted to develop an app that would create a safe haven and help women understand what ingredients were in the products that they were using every day. So I like Think Dirty. There's others out there, but this is my go-to app. What you'll do is you'll either scan the barcode with the app, and this is I believe it's a free app. And if it's not free, it's literally dollars, so it's not expensive. And you scan the barcode, or you just type in the name of the product, and it will give you a safety rating from 0 to 10. So 0 is meaning safe. You can use it inside your home. 10 is no go. Do not use this product. Now, I use the number 3. Anything with a 3 rating or lower is allowed into my home. Anything that has a higher rating than 3, I put it back on the shelf, or, it just does not come into my home. Now, here's the good news. And I tell everybody who comes through our program, they have to download this app. We do a little scavenger hunt. We start going out through the house and we start looking at things, because it tells you why it gives it the safety rating, whether it's good or bad. It calls out those ingredients. So we start learning, ooh, fragrance is no good. Fragrance always gets an 8 or higher rating. So if a product has fragrance in it, I don't want it. Oh, sodium lauryl sulfate, that's another one that gets us a high rating. That's another one I don't want to have inside my home. Phthalates get a really high score. I know that's another one. So you start understanding there's about 6 or 8 ingredients that get called out pretty much all the time. And once you know those, then it's going to be much easier for you to go shopping, because you're going to be able to turn that around and go, oh, okay, there's no parabens, there's no fragrance, there's no phthalates, there's no sulfates. All right, I'm good. This one's okay. I can use this one.
Excellent. And so the app doesn't give you recommendations. You just need to find them elsewhere.
Exactly. And here's the thing. And I like the app too, because I challenge you to go to the grocery store and grab any cleaning product. I don't care what cleaning product it is, and turn it around and try to read the ingredient list. Or laundry. Chances are there's not going to be an ingredient list. They're going to refer you to a website. So we couldn't even read the ingredients if we wanted to. The app has them all in there.
That's nice.
Right? So we don't have to go do that due diligence. Now, if you want to learn about it, please do, and arm yourself so that you know what you're supposed to be looking for. And the more I started digging into this and the more I started to understand these different ingredients, the madder I got. I thought, oh my word, no studies are done on phthalates and sulfates being used together inside of a product and how safe that is for our bodies.
Right.
Not one governmental study has been done on that, but yet they're always in conjunction almost with each other in many of the products that we use. So, I thought we had somebody watching over us. I thought, being in the automotive business, I have OSHA and EPA that watches over us in that industry, right? And we knew these are the regulations, we have to follow them to a T, and if not, we're in trouble. So I just assumed every other business out there had regulatory bodies that watched over what they do. And I soon found out that's simply not true. Right. So we have to take our head out of the sand, and we have to start arming ourselves with the information so that we can make better choices. One of the things, just going off topic here for a moment, but one of the things I suffered from all my adult life was headaches. I had headaches every day of my life. That's one of the reasons I went to many of the doctors I went to. And at the end, the last 2 years of my unhealth journey, I had lost the vision on my left side due to the migraine headaches that I kept having repeatedly over and over again. And no one could tell me why. They couldn't find anything wrong with me. I had doctors tell me it was in my head. I had doctors tell me I had a high stress job. I had, close to 200 employees. I had, 5 different locations. Of course it's stressful, but tell me what I need to do. They just wanted to prescribe antidepressants for me, muscle relaxers, all these different things that caused other symptoms in my body. When I changed what I cleaned my house with and what I did laundry with, I've not had a headache or a migraine since. Wow. And I know it was like, what? And my vision is back. And, it's just, and I'm not here to say that's your story too. I'm just sharing with you what made a difference for me.
Mm-hmm. It's brilliant. So glad that you got better. It's so
my gosh. So much better. When you're in that mode too, I don't know, you had to have heard this. You work with thousands of people as well. I didn't realize how sick I was. Right. I didn't realize how bad I felt, until I started feeling better.
Right. Yeah, as humans, we're incredibly adaptable, right? We just keep adapting until we get to a point where it's smacking us in the face, and so unfortunately we have to listen to our bodies and we have to pay attention. Otherwise, I had a call with somebody the other day who said that, he's not ready to resolve his fatigue. His urgency was like an 8 out of 10. And I said, when's it going to be 10 out of 10 when you can't get up out of the bed anymore and you can't work? We have to pay attention earlier so that we can actually get better. So great. That's really helpful. So we talked about kind of some of the common places in the home where we can find some of these chemical toxins, and I'm going to focus mainly on those. We also talked about like heavy metals, chemicals, infections, which are so important. But I kind of want to do a bit of a deep dive, since we haven't done that before, on the chemicals. And so
absolutely.
So important. And so we talked about the Think Dirty app. Right. And so what are these chemicals doing in the body?
Oh my gosh. Great question. Everything. They're causing, here's the root. This is where it goes. They're causing inflammation inside the cells of the body. All right. That honestly is the easiest answer I can give you. When I say take your hand off the fire, I'm literally saying take your hand off the fire, because these toxins are a fire to the cells. And what happens is the cell membrane is made up of fat, lipids. And so when we damage it and we inflame it, it becomes rigid. So nothing good gets inside the cell, nothing bad gets out of the cell. So the toxins get trapped inside the cells. And that's where we start getting these things like brain fog, and we get the digestive issues, and we get the skin issues, and all the other symptoms that we have that are overload of toxicity inside the body. Because we can move toxins out of the body, but when they get trapped inside those cells, it gets really hard to get them out of the body. Plus, there's receptors around those cell membranes, right? They're the communicators between the cells and all other functions inside the body. And we've got hormone receptors and insulin receptors, on there. And those get blunted and damaged so that they're not communicating properly inside the body. We get, obese, it leads to obesity, which leads to diabetes and heart disease and all these other, diseases that are primarily tied to obesity inside the body. So honestly, these chemicals are the driver of every disease that we can have inside the body. They really are, when we break it down to that very simplistic, manner. And so if we can stop the bombardment of these chemicals inside the body, we can reduce that inflammation that's happening inside the cells. This isn't like, hey, my ankles are swollen, right? We're not talking that kind of inflammation. We're talking about this inflamed state that our bodies are in. And I rattled off skin issues and digestive issues, memory issues. These are all those symptoms that our body's trying to say, hey, pay attention. And if we're not paying attention at that point, then we get the diabetes, diagnosis, we get the autoimmune diagnosis, we get the cancer diagnosis, right? Those are the things that when it goes further that we get. So we got to pay attention when our breath changes, our body odor changes, we've got unexplained pain in our body. We've got digestive issues that are kind of new, and all of a sudden there's something off kilter, and our body wants to be in balance. So we have to figure out, how do we bring that back in balance?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up obesity, because one of the interesting things that I've seen in my practice is that we can have everything fixed for losing weight. And if somebody still has these toxins in their bodies, right, which are stored in the fat cells, they're not going to lose weight. Is that something that you've seen as well?
Over and over and over again. And here's the thing, weight loss is a side effect to getting the cells well. It's a side effect of getting the cells well. Our primary objective should be to get the cells healthy, because when we get the cells healthy, then all that other stuff goes into line. Our memory is fantastic. We're sleeping good. We have the energy that we want. Our skin is glowing. Disease gets reversed in us. We drop the weight without even trying, because we're getting those cells healthy. And the first step to that is to get rid of the toxins. It's to look inside the home. And we just talked about the everyday things that we're using. And I gave you a great tool with the Think Dirty, but we can dig deeper, into that, if you want to as well, because there's layers upon layers of it inside of our homes. We can look at, what are you cooking with? What appliances are you using inside your home? Do you have some EMF protection? That's the invisible toxin inside our homes, right? We can talk about that. We can talk about cooking our food, storing our food, our water. Everybody, raise your hand if you should be drinking clean filtered water, right? But what's more important than that is what the heck you're bathing in. That's going to do more for your body than drinking clean water. Now, I'm saying do it all, but we got to look at systems to make sure that the what we're bathing in is better, because we're opening up the pores to the largest organ of our body, our skin, when we're bathing and in the shower. And if we've got fluoride and chlorine and chloramine and heavy metals and prescription drugs all being bombarded on our body, it's just going right inside the body if it's not filtered out.
I remember we had a friend visiting who was quite sensitive, and he took a bath in our bathtub, and he got out and he reported that it was the best bath he ever had. We've got a whole house water filter, and he could tell the difference.
There's a big difference. I'm quite a water snob. I get called that all the time, but and when I'm at a restaurant, if they can't tell me what their water's filtered with, then I am going to prefer that it be a bottled water. I prefer not to drink out of bottled water because I think that's just as bad, but I don't want it out of the tap if you can't tell me how that's being filtered. When I go to hotels, I know you can just smell it. You can smell the chlorine inside that water. So, you know, it's important that we filter the whole house. And if you're in, maybe you're in an apartment or you're in temporary housing where you're not going to be there permanently. Two things I can tell you there. Number one, there are plenty of companies out there that rent the equipment to you. So you can rent the equipment and it will move with you no matter where you are. And it's less than $50 a month for it. Nice. Okay. So there's plenty of companies that do that. I love that opportunity there. And then secondly, you can purchase shower head filters. So if you can't afford a whole house filtration system. I mean, honestly, people, less than $50 a month, you know, take 2 of your coffee breaks out of your, you know, weekly routine and you got that covered, more than covered, right? But get a shower head filter. They just screw into the line, you know, coming out of the wall, and then you've got good filtered water in your shower. And they're, again, less than $50 will last, well, depending on your water, it could be 30 days to 60 days.
That's great. So do you have favorite companies that you use for filtering water?
Aquasana has some really good water filtration systems. Berkey has great water filtration systems. I say use a combination of water filtration because each filtration system is doing a different thing with the water. So number one, you can go to ewg.org. It's a website. And they've got tabs across the top, I believe. And one of them says water. And if you click on that, if you live and you have city water, you can type in your zip code and it will tell you what is in your water. So you will know what's been tested to be found inside your water source. And now you'll know, do I need a charcoal water filtration system? What about reverse osmosis? What about UV lights? What about water softeners? What's going to be the best filtration system for what's testing inside my water source?
That's brilliant. I'm definitely going to check that out.
Yeah.
And so I just got back from a conference where they talked a lot about distilling water as being the best water for consumption. It obviously you can't use it for a whole house. So you're still going to want to use like a block carbon, like Aquasana, which I also recommend. What do you think about distillation for drinking water?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I believe that for drinking water, distillation is going to be better because reverse osmosis, which I do have reverse osmosis, but I add minerals back in. And that's what I need to do because it's dead water. So there's nothing mineral wise that I'm getting inside the body, and I need to reactivate that and add minerals back into it. So distilling, if I remember correctly, and I remember seeing the distillery, you know, set up in our house at the farm because my husband had them, that it doesn't take out all of the minerals in the water. Am I correct in that?
Right.
Evan, yeah. So you don't have to take that extra step if you're using reverse osmosis. And honestly, people, an easy, you know, thing with adding minerals is you can use some gray Celtic sea salt. You can use some pink Himalayan salt. I get them from Upgrade Formulas, Barton Scott's company. It's just a liquid. There's no taste to it. And you add a dropper full into your water and you're good to go.
Nice. That's great. So that's water. There's something else I was going to ask around that. Well, let's transition. So does everybody have toxins in their body?
Oh, definitely. If you're breathing, walking, and you're out and about, you're alive, you're going to have toxins in the body. There's no way to avoid it. There's just not. There's so many. Look at what we're online right now. So we've got electronic magnetic frequencies that are hitting our bodies right now. I've got a ring light in front of me. There's, that's a toxin, right? There's plastics, there's flame retardants on fabrics. So the list goes on. And I don't mean to scare people. Here's the flip side of that coin, is that your body has got this filtration system built in that is fantastic if it's not overloaded.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about detoxing. A lot of people will hear this and they might think, well, I'm just going to go do a detox. Let me just buy what's at the store. Like, why, what's the problem with most detoxes out there?
Well, here's the thing, everybody wants, our mentality here in the modern world is that, I want a tea, I want something I can drink, I want a pill I can take to ease whatever ailment is that I'm dealing with, right? They don't want to take those steps of lifestyle change. Some people do. Some people, and probably the people who are listening to this podcast are going to be in that category of, I'm willing to take the steps that I need to take. Is there anything wrong with a detox tea or the foot baths or a detox protocol? Absolutely not. But we still need to get down to that cellular level. We have to support the detoxification pathways all the way through the body. And if all we're doing is trying to drink an herbal tea or take a pill or do a foot soak, then we're missing the bigger picture. Does that make sense? And
Absolutely.
I think that we need, and depending on what kind of toxins that we have, find out. There's a mycotoxin test that you can take. There's all kinds of, I do with the group that I coach with, there's a visual test that we can take that'll find out if we've got biotoxins that we've been exposed to. There are questionnaires because there's symptoms. Just like with you and fatigue, you can answer a series of questions and a vast majority of the time, we're going to know exactly what we're dealing with without even having to get to the blood or the urine or the hair, right? But there's more. And if you go through the questionnaire and you take those steps and you still don't have results, then we can go to the blood or the urine or the hair and really test and find out what else is going on inside that body.
I'm glad you brought that up, because so many people think that you need to get so many different labs in order to find the information that you need. But, like we've discussed before, I've found that 75% of all 33 different causes of fatigue can actually be assessed by the symptoms. So it sounds like you found similar.
Absolutely. And I've got 2 different questionnaires I send people through. And based on those answers, I pretty much know exactly what's going on inside their body. And I've been doing it for a long time. That makes a difference as well. But, and here's the other thing too. I'm not going to say it costs you nothing, but you can make lifestyle changes. And if you still don't have the result that you're hoping for in, say, 90 days, then we can dig deeper, right? I always approached my business this way too. If the overall big picture view looks good, I don't have to do a deep dive down into what's happening in this particular store, that particular store. But if my numbers, that big overall picture, I'm like, ooh, something's a little off kilter here. Now I'm doing that deep dive and trying to figure out what it is. We should do the same thing with our health.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in terms of detox, I know you talk about the detox funnel. What is that?
Absolutely. So think of it, when we look at a funnel, we're wide up at the top and narrow at the bottom. The bottom is the colon, right? So that's where everything is being eliminated, where, we're coming out the bottom of the barrel here. So when I start talking to people, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, how often are you pooping? I need to know this. You need to know this. And not only how often are you pooping, but look at it. What does it look like? because what it looks like is going to tell us what's going on inside that body too. And I'll hear from so many people that say, oh, I'm not constipated. Great. So how many times a day are you pooping? Oh, a couple times a week. Oh, sorry, my friend, you're constipated. You need to have a bowel movement at minimal one time a day. Ultimately, like for myself, I've done a lot of work on my body and I'm pooping every time I eat. Every time I eat, I have a bowel movement, and you should. And if you're not, do some more work on the body. Does that make sense?
It does,
okay.
Yeah.
So colon, what if you're not? All right. What if you're not moving? Because if you're not moving at least once a day, I'm not going to take you up to level 2, 3, 4, or 5. We're not even going to approach it. We got to get the bottom cleared out first. So number 1, drink more water. When you think you've drank enough water, keep drinking some more, my friend. You need, I always have my glass of water here. Let's take a sip.
Break for water, everybody.
Probably 100 ounces of water a day. Especially if you're coming from an unhealthy spot, at minimum, you should be drinking that much a day. The average, they say, is a half your body weight in ounces. Now, does that work for everybody? No, it does not. Are you exercising? Are you out in the heat? What other things do you have going on? It's personal to you and what's going on in your particular lifestyle. So that's a conversation that we're going to have. But at minimum, you should be drinking half your body weight in ounces of water a day. Okay. Move the body. Even going for a 10-minute brisk walk can get you eliminating out of the body. So, that's a great thing to do. Legs up the wall. Have you ever sat in that position in a yoga position? Scoot your tail in right to the wall and get those legs up the wall. Not only does it get the anxiety, relieve the anxiety, but getting ourselves in that prone position helps kind of adjust things with the colon and the intestines, and we can start moving.
Excellent.
Easy tips.
Yeah, those are great.
Add more fiber, to your diet. You should, as a woman, you should be getting 25 grams of fiber a day. As a man, it's like 35-ish or better grams of fiber per day. So, that's a lot of fruits and vegetables. This is the brushing bristles, moving everything through the body by taking in the fiber. Chia seeds. If you do 2 tablespoons of chia seeds a day, you've got 25 grams of fiber. So add it to your salad, put it in your smoothie. Super easy ways of incorporating chia seeds into our diet, and we get that fiber.
Excellent.
All right. Next level. I don't know how much time we got here. I can talk forever. Once we go beyond the colon, now we're getting into the organs of the detox. So we're talking the liver, the kidney, the bile duct, and the skin, are very much part of these organs of the body that help us detox. So what happens when these aren't functioning? The liver, beyond detoxing, our body has like 500 functions inside the body. So we need to love on that liver. If this part is plugged up, this is where the toxins go into the cells of the body. They get into those fat cells because they'll bind with the bile, and then they bind into, the cells of the body, and they get trapped, and we get this whole recirculation going on. If it doesn't eliminate out of our urine and it doesn't eliminate out our colon, then it's recirculating throughout the body. And that's where we get the bloating and the diarrhea or the constipation, or we get the irritable bowel syndrome. We get the leaky gut syndrome. We get, the issues with the skin. Eczema, psoriasis are very much toxins loaded inside of our bodies. So we need to love on these organs. And again, the number 1 tip here is water. Drinking plenty of water. My favorite tip to love on the liver is castor oil packs. Have you ever used castor oil?
It's been a while.
That is so, 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 so good for the liver. And, you know, you can go out and buy a pack. I'm all about making things easy. I just take it and slap it on my hand and just rub it on, you know, right on your right-hand side rib cage. Just rub it right in there, put an old t-shirt on that you don't mind because it'll stain your t-shirt, and go to bed. And it does the work. You know,
Excellent.
drink water first thing in the morning when you wake up. This is going to help love on that liver, love on the kidneys, you know, get all of the toxins out of the body first thing in the morning. So instead of going for that cup of coffee, drink a 8-ounce glass of room temperature water. And even better, add some lemon to it, or add some apple cider vinegar, you know, into it. It's fantastic. Take a glass to bed with you the night before, then it's sitting right on the bedside table and you can drink it right when you wake up.
Excellent. Those are great tips.
Yeah, there's lots and lots. I mean, there's so many things that we can do to love on and support all the systems of our body, because our body was created to be in balance and to do all its functions. We just have to give it some love so that it can do what it's naturally created to do.
Mm-hmm. And so is there if you were to choose one supplement that you feel like is most helpful in detoxification, what would you choose?
Glutathione. Glutathione is the key to removing toxins from our cells. So I'm going to choose a supplement. I choose a supplement that actually activates my body to make its own glutathione. So that's what I choose to use. So I would, you know, make sure that you're getting a whole food, great ingredient supplement that is going to help your body with glutathione production, not adding glutathione in, because even if it's a good quality supplement, if you had a pill that you're swallowing, only 3% of that is being absorbed by the body because it gets destroyed in the gut, you know, and in the process going through the gut. So I like activating it instead and helping my body do the job that it's supposed to do. And we have to have enough glutathione in the body in order for us to detox. So if I'm going to focus on one thing, supplement wise, it's going to be glutathione.
Excellent. And for those of you guys who are listening, you do have to be careful whenever you're consuming these things, and there is a proper order to doing this sort of detoxification. So, you know, some of the stuff like castor oil packs and high dose water and stuff like that, perfectly safe, but you do want to make sure that you're under advisement so that you can be as safe as possible while you're going through this process.
Absolutely. Like I said, you know, if we're not eliminating, we're not ready. We're not ready, and we can't move into any more of these layers, and we don't want to because we can cause more damage to our body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of my story, the reason why I had fatigue was that I pooped once a week for the first 25 years of my life because I didn't know that I was sensitive to gluten and dairy, and that was a problem. I used to walk around with a plunger on my shoulder. No, but I could have because unfortunately I was clogging toilets left and right. Probably too much information for everybody listening, but I'm much better now.
You know, when we get into health, we get into some really crazy topics that we, you know, and subjects that we cover, but that's so true. And you didn't know, you thought that was normal because right. For 25 years, that's what your body did. You didn't know any other way. You know, so that's what's so wonderful about doing what you do and me coming on and talking and sharing what I do is that we can open up your eyes to maybe some things that you thought were normal that aren't. You know, we can take a look at it.
Absolutely. So great. So let's talk a little bit about, we'll transition to kind of people learning more about you and kind of what you do. So where can people go to learn more about you?
Sure. So transformingwomenshealth.com is my website, and literally everything is on there. So if you want to connect with me social media wise, all of my links are there on the website. My podcast is all on there. The book, you know, I wrote a book that is on that website as well. We have a newsletter you can join in on. We send recipes and just really healthy lifestyle tips in the newsletter. So I encourage people to get on that so that they can learn. We're providing education.
Excellent. And you did provide a free gift for our audience, Blacklist Ingredients.
I love the Blacklist. So the Blacklist Ingredients is my free ebook that I give out a lot out in the industry. And it is going to take you room by room. It's your cheat sheet. So I literally list the ingredients you want to avoid in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the bedroom, and in the laundry room.
Yeah, this is really good. I was just checking it out. And it's a quick read, really easy. Yeah, it's perfect. And then you work with people in your Vitality Accelerator, right?
I do. So we've got a group coaching program. And honestly, I look at it as your first step to health. So we're teaching you in 90 days how to take your hand off the fire, how to balance and work with this detox funnel and get everything working properly. We do that through things that we do daily. We do it through foods that we eat. We're big proponents on looking at food to support the body and the systems of the body, as well as addressing mental. Our mental frame of mind is can be a huge toxin, or it can be a huge blessing to us. So we need to take a look at what does that piece how does that get put together inside of our overall health? What is that doing to the health of our body? And so when we look at all kinds of these three pieces and we learn how to get to that cellular level and heal at that level, and then people can go on and they live a healthy lifestyle. They can reverse things. One of our clients that are going through our program right now, I love her story because she was diagnosed with breast cancer in May. She joined our program in August, and she has chosen to do the conventional medicine route. So she has had chemotherapy and radiation. She just did a double mastectomy surgery not even 3 weeks ago. And she has not lost any weight. She has retained all of her energy. She has not gotten sick throughout all her courses of her treatments. And she has recovered. The doctors with her surgery are absolutely astounded by her recovery, with this surgery. And she's a pastor's wife. So the congregation is very much watching her because she's going through all these treatments where most people don't do so well. She's doing very well because we've removed so many of the other toxins, and we've taught her how to eat to really feed and support the systems in her body. And she's like, 3 months into the program, her digestive health is 98% better, and she's sleeping better than she ever has in her entire adult life. And she's going through chemotherapy and radiation. So imagine, what it can do for you and your body when you're just dealing with the basics.
Amazing.
It's
so yeah,
fantastic.
so if you heard that and it spoke to you, definitely check out the work that Aimee is doing and consider joining that amazing program. So last question for you, Aimee.
Yes.
So if there was just one thing that you could recommend to resolve somebody's fatigue or optimize their energy, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. You know what? Get the electronics out of the bedroom. Get the electronics out of the bedroom. If we don't have good sleep, we're not going to have the energy that we want, the focus that we want. We're going to have that fatigue. So in order to create the environment for us to be able to sleep, we've got to get the electronics out of the bedroom.
That's brilliant. And I would imagine that it also includes any sort of frequency or waves out of the bedroom, right? So turn off the router. You don't need it while you're sleeping, right? Get rid of that wireless and the mobile data and turn off those phones. And
when I say electronics, I'm talking all electronics. If you come into my bedroom, you will not see anything. My alarm clock is battery operated. There's no electrical plug into it. So I'm talking zero electronics. There's no cell phones, there's no laptops, there's no, and because when we plug in an alarm clock as well, it's always got a light on it. And that interferes with our ability to sleep well.
Right.
So I want complete darkness. I want cool temperatures in the bedroom, and I want the electronics out of there. This is your oasis. This is your sleep. This is where you restore and repair the body, is at night in sleep. And so let's do everything that we can to optimize that experience for ourselves. And that, my friends, will help you get over your fatigue.
Amen. Aimee, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I so appreciate you and the work you're doing in the world.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun, and you're so easy to talk with. Thank you for inviting me in.
I hope you learned something on today's podcast. If you did, please share it with your friends and family and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. It's really helpful for getting this information out to more fatigued people who desperately need it. Sharing all the experts I know and love and the powerful tips I have on fatigue is one of my absolute favorite things to do. If you'd like more information, please sign up for my newsletter, where I share all important facts and information about fatigue, from the foods and supplements to the programs and products that I use personally and recommend to others so that they can live their best lives. Just go to fixyourfatigue.com/newsletter to sign up, and I will send you this great information. Thanks for being part of my community. Just a reminder, this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional care by a doctor or other qualified medical professional. It is provided with the understanding that it does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services. If you're looking for help with your fatigue, you can visit my website and work with us at fixyourfatigue.com. And remember, it's important that you have someone in your corner who is a credentialed healthcare professional to help you make changes. This is very important, especially when it comes to your health. Thanks for listening.